right, guys, so we are here at the SEMA Show in the Mutoh booth with my favorite designer of all time, Glarb Designs. He's from Florida, and he designed all of the artwork in our booth. So all the wall murals, our underhoods, and of course the creatures of the night, your masterpiece.
Yep.
So there was a lot of visual effects that we were trying to do with this wrap, right?
Yep.
We were trying to do, obviously it's reflective, it's black light reactive, which was a nice little twist I wasn't expecting. And then it's light reactive to RGB lights.
Yep.
So can you kind of explain like how you even mastered that? Because everybody that's came by the booth is like, how did you do this with a printer? And it's not the print, it's actually the design.
Yeah.
It's secret sauce.
I'll give you some snippets,
Yes.
but really it's just, it has a lot to do with the color. So a lot of contrasting colors, and when you came to me with the idea of that light design, I had to kind of mess around with it a little bit and do some research, but it's really like if you have a blue color, you need to put like a yellow, which is a contrasting color. It's the opposite color.
Okay.
So that way there are two totally different like spectrums of color that you'll see with the two totally different lightings. And then with the black light, that's also just color, just hitting the right color, like that fluorescent that will shine under a black light. The 3D effect is just layering, drop shadows like we were just talking about, highlights, and just making sure that there's a decent amount of depth within it. And I guess just, making certain things transparent, certain things a little bit more bold and a little bit more light, and making sure that the entire composition just looks like one solid piece of art as opposed to a bunch of different
Right, like
images.
That's one thing I'll say, like you really can blend everything so well, and there's so much detail in this. Like the more I look, the more I find.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is looking at the hood with the RGB lights, because the leaves and stuff actually change and it looks like it turns to like fall colors, like warms and like really, really cool stuff. So you freaking killed it.
Thank you so much.
Killed it.
If you want, I'll kind of explain the hood design and like the different elements. So obviously we were talking about like the waterfalls being like the racing stripes. So I incorporated the waterfalls in the front and then the back. And then if you kind of look at it, it's a bunch of sourced images. There is a little bit of AI included, a little like hand drawing, hand brushing. So like you'll see these leaves here, just kind of, wind down throughout, and then some of these leaves are actually like hand drawn, like these leaves here. I go back and I add like the more crisper details on top of kind of the more blurred out details, which creates that depth. So obviously the field of focus would be here,
totally
and then
makes sense.
the further details would be a little bit more blurred out.
Yeah.
So you have the tree image, and then I kind of have to just go over all the leaves, all the branches, making sure that the edges are nice and crisp, and that's what kind of creates that like good quality image. The tree itself has a couple of like veins that are hand drawn. The girl image is a separate image, where this is kind of where you get that depth, because you have to place the girl image on top of the tree with the shadows, with everything else, and she's like part of her is hand drawn, and then you don't see much of the dress because of the vent, but it's all just
it flows though.
Yeah, all this like these are just hand drawn little leaves. Just it's a Photoshop brush that you just keep basically pressing it.
If you had to guess, like how many layers would you say are in the overall design?
500.
Like hundreds.
Yeah,
right?
500 probably.
Okay,
the file itself was, I think, like 30 gigs big by the time I was done.
It crashed my computer
really?
like 10 times. I got through printing one whole side, and it was 2 feet away, and it crashed. So I lost that whole print.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But on the sides, like what the inspiration we were going for was like nocturnal creatures, because I'm like Hagrid from Harry Potter. Like I have all these crazy animals, and I'm like super into the dark side of things, so that's kind of what I wanted to showcase. So like, where did you pull inspiration from?
I guess just going off with the idea, I got really excited because it wasn't something it's not a theme that you get often. Like, nobody really wants,
people
nocturnal
do like
creatures.
copyright stuff all the time, like Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy, but this is like a totally different concept to put on a car. And
I think from there, I just kind of got excited. So obviously Googled all the nocturnal animals I possibly could, moths, badgers, owls, and then creating that whole illusion of like what you were saying, where the different lights. So now each creature is kind of a focal point, right? So now I wanted each creature to have I guess like 2 different personalities or 2 different actions.
Yeah.
So as you can see, I get the image and I overlay the other image, and then it's just a matter of like blending it, making sure that all the details are the same, so it does look like you know, the same animal twice, and then just changing the colors, like the hues and saturations of this one. This was more of like a blue and orange, and then this is more of like a yellow and green. So there is that difference in colors, and then same with the butterfly, just layering. This is the main image, and then layering this on top with a drop shadow just to create that separation. Right. And just keeping like a color, like a nice color palette that matches the rims. And you know, just going in and drawing out all the...
Just going ham on it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a huge difference between your first rendering and
100%.
the final rendering that we got to. It was just like intensified by 1,000.
Yeah.
And I feel like it gives like, I keep telling people it's like Avatar / Lisa Frank kind of vibe, which I really
I can
like
see that for
because I'm
sure.
like a 90s kid. But overall, like, there's so many visual effects with this design, and I've seen people do 3D like red, black, blue designs on cars before, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone do a light reactive 3D wrap. So I feel like this is the first, and it's the only. So
I'm excited. Yeah, it came out.
Cool.
It came out way better than I thought. I mean, obviously seeing it on the computer in full scale, I kind of get an idea, but you never really know how it's going to look when you see it on the car, how it flows with the body kit. If I were to get nitpicky, because I always nitpick my stuff, I would have just liked to taken that character right there and just gone eep, just like just about like 6-7 inches.
Well, but you can't let perfection get in the way of completion.
That's just me.
That's the rule.
But yeah, just trying to include little small details like the mouse down there that, you know, the two mice down there that not too many people are going to pick up on. I think there's a frog on the other side.
Love it.
Eating
I love all
dragonfly.
the extra little things I found. The ants, even the bees and like sunflowers. You know, bees are like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to die by bees. Like, it's right here. But anyways, it's an amazing design. You smashed it. This should be the design of the year. It should be the wrap of the year, in my opinion.
That'd be awesome.
And I feel like every time that we collaborate, we just make epic stuff.
No, very cool. Yeah, I'm excited. I love hearing all the feedback. Everybody's been like blown away by it. My messages are going crazy with it. So it's cool to finally see it in person. I don't get to see a lot of the cars in person.
See it come to fruition.
Yeah, and it just makes that all that extra time put into it like that much more, you know, worth it. So
out here first.
First, SEMA 2024, Wrapsesh, Glarb, Vinyl Vixen. We out.